Hi, Assalamualaikum and good evening. We are from group 5. We're talking about the Little Albert, a common issue of ethics in medical research of a Little Albert. Okay, so the introduction of the research ethic is the Little Albert is actually an experiment of a particular behavior such as traumatic or phobias. The experiment named by the story of the child from the famous story by John Watson, where the child are having traumatic behavior of any furry things or living things. This syndrome usually happens among human beings when something bad happens to the person, either they are still baby or fully grown up. This behavior disorder might result damage of or a malfunction of amygdala. Amygdala actually a cell inside our brain. And some of the people who have this kind of mental illness can be seen clearly, but some are not. Okay, so basically, Little Albert is a name that been named from cases of this child. The child are being experienced by the John Watson, who are the scientists at 1920. He is doing this experiment at 1920 at the Johns Hopkins University. And this experiment actually, they are hiding the real name of the child, where the real name of the Little Albert is actually Douglas Merritt. Douglas Merritt is actually a son of the Ervil Merritt, who are the nurse at that same campus, that hospital's campus. And actually, the mother agreed of the child to being experiments because of the baby participation being paid as $1 if the baby are joined, if the mother agreed of giving the baby as at age of 6 because of the hydrocephalus. Hydrocephalus is actually a fluid, a cerebrospinal fluid inside the occurs between happens among the larger, enlarge the head, and that one could cause the brain damage. And this and all of these identity story that being revealed actually are from the or the son of this Ervil Merritt is Gary Iron. So that's all the story of this Little Albert. So we can further to the next slide.
Okay, next is importance of research ethic. Okay, it's to make sure the contributions of the phobia in the child emotional is stable. Okay, the entity is the concern that encountered of Watson and Little Albert study. The modern code of ethics denounces evoking fear responses from human participants. Okay, next I will pass to Kira.
Okay, hi, Assalamualaikum. My name is Fakira Dina. Okay, now I would like to talk about general policy or ethical guideline of Little Albert research. Okay, there are 4 types of ethical guideline, which is first is respect, where John Watson and Rayner did not respect to both Little Albert and his mother when they are doing the experiment. And number 2 is obtain informed consent, which both John Watson and Rayner getting the informed consent from Little Albert's mother before they start doing the if it's not developed. Lastly is minimize the risk of harm, where when conducting the experiment, John Watson and Rayner did not think about the risk of the harm towards little Albert, and
Next.
Okay, hi, Assalamualaikum. My name is Nurhayati binti Muhammad Zamri. So I'm going to proceed with ethical approval process of Little Albert research. Okay, first, the institution must follow federal, state, and local laws. Okay, in the review and regulate research involving both animal and human subject. Okay, second, the information for review must be accurate in this research that we have done. Okay. So number 3 is approval must be obtained before the research is conducted. Approval from the IRB, they need to get approval from IRB before they conduct the research. For research procedure must follow the approval protocol. In this experiment, there were no any ethical guideline. In the past, an ethical experiment can be conducted by physiologists for selfish and illegitimated reason. It is due to such an ethical experiment that urge physiological societies to issue a code of ethics in order to protect the participant of inhuman harm. So all the psychologists have to strictly follow the guideline, and in order to obtain approval to conduct their intended experiment, such as the Little Albert experiment that they have done by Watson and Rainey. Next.
Hello, my name is Muhammad Nazim bin Nasruddin, and good evening. I would like to talk about the informed consent of Little Albert. Usually, informed consent is making sure that all participants in the experiment can give consent to themselves. But for Little Albert, there is no informed consent from this experiment. And secondly, Little Albert's mother is in charge of giving consent for him. And thirdly, in this experiment of Little Albert, he was too young to give the consent. So therefore, there is no record of informed consent, and there are no records about the participant withdrawal rights. So however, it can be assumed that Little Albert suffered lasting psychology harm as the result of the experiment. So to the next slide.
Okay, hi, Assalamualaikum. My name is Nima Faiz. So I will talk about the research misconduct of the Little Albert. For the first one, the Little Albert suffers of a lasting physiology harm. Do no harm. Physiology have to reduce or eliminate to the theoretical that taking part in a study may cause harm to a participate during and afterwards. Little Albert was harmed during and would potentially have suffered lifelong harm as a result. Second, the experiment was lack of the variable, as it only has one subject to be controlled. Another one is there was no information concern before the experiment conduct. So the participant of informed consent subject have to give as much information about the studies as possible before the study begins, so they can make the decision about the participate based on the knowledge. If the research is such that giving information before the study alternative is auto debrief at the conclusion. For the fourth one, the Little Albert and his mother were not giving right to the withdraw from the experiment. Another one is there was no clear experiment design and produced, so it means the base ethical issues with the experiment has been from the recordings, and the environment was not controlled. The animals changed, and the several appear themselves to be in distress. So the last one, the experiment does not have objective but only depends on the extrapolation. That's all. So the next slide.
Okay. So for this explanation, actually, how the experiment being done by the scientists of John Watson. Before this thing happened, the first start, the baby doesn't fear anything of the white rat, which is the furry things. But after they put the hammer and the steel bar and dang it, so the baby are fear of that rat and cry naturally reflect. So that this is the condition during that experiments. And after that, when the baby seen the rats again or any other furry things, the baby are fear of that thing and the animals, because they thought that if he want to play with the rat or the furry things, he will hear that noisy sound again. So that's why they are scared of. That's why he is scared. The little Albert is scared of the furry things and the rats. So that's all. Thank you.